Good evening and welcome to round two of the KCR Simulators F4 US Esports Championship. My name's John Phippen. I'm the spokesman for the series, and I'm joined in the commentary box by Austin Knight. Good morning, Austin.
Good morning, or more conveniently, good afternoon to you, John, and everyone here on the F4 US channel. It's a great day here down south in sweet home Alabama at Barber Motorsports Park. Track is a bit hot today, and we got a great race for y'all tuned up.
We're in qualifying mode right now as the 24 drivers, I believe, that pre-qualified for this event are going to set their grid positions. And at the moment, Quinlan Law, the New Jersey driver and a veteran of F4 Championship and F3 Championship competition with us, is the pace setter. 1:17.87, his quickest time. But right behind him, Mackay Stevens, just about 3/100ths of a second off that pace. Victor Anderson, who finished on the podium in our first round of racing, is currently third quick. Jeremy Fairbairn, currently fourth. Marco Kachik rounding out the top five in the early going. Still got about 7 minutes remaining in this qualifying session to set the grid. Simon Sykes took the pole in our first round of racing at Indianapolis Motor Speedway on the road course there. And of course, we're looking for perhaps a different pole sitter here this weekend. Simon so far has not yet completed a lap in this qualifying session.
And as we're in qualifying, we do have somebody very special to talk about driving here. He's very experienced here. He's actually won here twice, and he's won the FR America's Esports Series here. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dakota Dickerson.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Yo, Dakota, what's up, brother?
How are you guys doing?
We're doing great. Great to have you with us.
Thanks for having me. I'm actually on track right now, so we'll see what type of lap time we can do. I haven't driven this car since actually the main championship, so if you have the camera on me, you probably see me struggling right now on the outside of turn 5.
Yeah, you're doing some good donuts, I can tell you that.
Yeah, I like the donuts. They're looking good.
Try and get out of this guy's way, not ruin somebody's hot lap. Well, it's Quinlan. But yeah, definitely a really fun track, really challenging. It's got a lot of elevation change, a lot of high commitment corners. It takes a lot to get this track right, and I'm not sure what the weather conditions are like right now as well, but definitely a tricky place to go fast.
So Dakota, you've won here twice. Tell us a little bit about the secret to going fast here at Barber Motorsports Park.
A lot of it is picking up your visual references. Like I said, there's a lot of really blind corners around this track. So once you get your references down, you can really start to push the limits of the car on the entries and gain that confidence. So kind of getting in a rhythm is really big. A big part of this car too is the tire model. It progressively gets faster. Every single lap should be a faster lap. So if you can really start to get in a rhythm, hit your marks, unlike I'm doing right now, then it's definitely a lot easier.
As in this championship, you're actually a kind of a prize that some of these guys are going for the hard charger, where they get a 1 hour special coaching session with you. And last week's winner, Aaron Roos, got that after a very nicely and very clean first lap at Indianapolis, made him the hard charger. How was your experience with coaching around this track?
It's awesome. Like you said, I had that coaching session with Aaron this Saturday, and went really, really well. Kind of going through a lot of the things that we just spoke about with getting references and getting comfortable with some of the blind entries, but he did a great job in our training session, and really excited to see how he does during this race.
So Dakota, how difficult is it to commentate and drive at the same time?
It's definitely not making my life any easier, but it's kind of fun, to be honest. You know, doing the FR championship, we were taking it, you know, ultra competitive, super serious with myself and Ben, looking at data and everything. And this is my first time on this track since I did some training with Aaron. So yeah, pace isn't there, but it's a lot of fun, and it's going to be an interesting race for sure. These F3 cars, I think we're running the high downforce setup, and it's super difficult to pass around here in general, let alone with these high downforce cars. So qualifying is going to be super important. Looks like Simon's on the pole right now with Quinlan about just trailing him slightly. So be a really cool race to watch. I'll probably start from pit lane. Try not to get in anybody's way during this race, but yeah, it's going to be a good race to watch.
Indeed.
If you start from pit lane and you get the hard charger award, do you have to coach yourself or?
I hope not. I'll figure that out when I'm going along. If it looks like I'm going to win the hard charger, I'll just do a whatever drive-through penalty. But if I can get a lap in, then we won't have to worry about it. But it's not looking too great for me right now. I'm 24th out of 25.
Yeah, that is actually I think it's a 24 out of 24 right now, Dakota.
Okay, let's see. I just put a lap in. Let's see where that puts me.
Yeah, so far you haven't. You're 13th.
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 Yeah.
Okay.
You're about a second and a half off Simon's pace. So.
Second and a half. All right. That's a good lap that Simon put down. 16.9.
Yep. He's the only one in the 16s.
Let's see.
Riding with Mackay Stevens right now, currently 7th quick. Aiden Yoder just jumps into the top 10. He's currently 8th quick in the 44 car. Justin Arsenault and Andrew Hewson rounding out the top 10. With Simon Sykes looking for his second pole in a row in this 2-race long season.
And jumping up to 5th, last round's winner, Mohamed Ibrahim, jumps up into 5th place. And he's looking to defend his current spot at the top. On board with Aaron Roofs right now as he comes across start-finish line and into turn 1. He jumps up into 11th.
So clearly that coaching session did Aaron some good. He's qualifying much better this weekend than he did last. Riding with our provisional pole sitter, Simon Sykes, as he's got a little traffic in front of him. That's going to cause a problem. That's Omar Khan in the 90 car just in head. And that's going to create some issues for Simon, I think, getting a clean lap this time. Quinlan Law's on his out lap, and we've only got about 30 seconds remaining in this session. So Quinlan's going to have to hustle if he's going to get across the line in time to get one more lap in. Swedish driver Victor Anderson in the 20 car, currently 3rd quick. He's only 9 100ths behind Quinlan.
Okay, Stevens jumps up into 4th. And that 21 car coming across the line right now is Andrew Hewson. Let's see if he improves. He does not. Nope, yes he does. He jumps up into 10th.
Andrew in the 15 car with the green livery. Dominic Livernoy on camera right now. Dominic down in 16th position right now outside of row 8. As we're coming to the end of qualifying, the checkered flag is being waved at the starter's stand. And right now, Simon Sykes looks to be a back-to-back pole winner, but we still got a lot of drivers out there on their final laps. So let's see how those times stack up as they come across the stripe.
They're right on board with Omar Khan, currently sitting 22nd. He comes across the line and doesn't improve. And, oh, he's getting a little bit squirrely. And turn 1 is going to be very crazy here, as we've seen a lot of incidents happen throughout the race at turn 1 with that grass on the outside of that massive bump it has mid-apex. I believe we still do have Dakota on the line. Dakota, can you tell us about that, how tricky turn 1 is here?
Yeah, it's definitely super tricky. You have a big elevation change right after the brake zone, so you tend to pick up quite a bit of understeer. So, generally speaking, you turn in a little bit earlier to compensate for that. And that curbing, like you're saying, is massive right at the apex. So you want to avoid that as much as possible, or it'll send you off track, which it sounds like it did for one of our competitors.
All right, thank you, Dakota. During the race, we might ask for your name throughout the race to give us a little insight of what's happening. So good luck in the race.
Thanks, guys. I'll be starting from pit lane, so we'll see what we can do.
All right. Checkered flag is out. Simon Sykes looks like it's going to be back-to-back poles for the number 6 car out of Athens, Georgia. He's the 2018 Team USA Scholarship nominee, is Simon, and he's taken to e-racing like a duck to water. And a 1:17.08. His last lap, his best lap, the only driver under a minute 17, a 1:16.98. As these drivers will be making ready to get onto the grid, we'll run that starting grid for you. Starting on pole, Simon Sykes. Alongside him, New Jersey native Quinlan Law. In row 2, Victor Anderson and Mackay Stevens. In row 3, Marco Kocic and Muhammad Ibrahim, who took the win in round number 1 at Indianapolis. Jack Harrison with a good qualifying performance in row 4 alongside Aiden Yoder. Alexander Kariba making his first start with us this weekend with Aaron Roofs, the Savvy Ninja. Andrew Hewson and Luboy Ozaretkovskaya rounds out row number 6. Moving on to row 7, we've got Justin Arsenault and Chris Long. In row number 8, Dakota Dickerson and Dominic Livernoy. Dakota, of course, will be starting from pit lane. Eric Evans,
our pit reporter.
Yep, exactly. Eric Evans and Jeremy Fairbairn in row number 9. Chase Outcalt, another new driver to us this weekend, along with Kenneth Garcia in row 10. Emerald Hopkins, one of 2 women in the field, alongside Omar Khan and Rodrigo Gutierrez and Cade McKee, rounding out row 12. All of these races are standing start affairs. It's a Formula One style standing start with 5 lights that illuminate at 1 second intervals. Then they all go out after a randomly chosen amount of time. You can see a good headshot there of Simon Sykes, our pole sitter, and Quinlan Law right alongside.
Remember what happened on lap 1 at Indianapolis? If you saw the video upload to the F4 US Championship video, where Simon actually lost control of his car and started that massive, I would say 15 car incident piled race. Well, hopefully he keeps it on pole and keeps it pointed straight today. It's a road to redemption for Simon Sykes. Can Mohammed Ibrahim return to the top step with him? We'll find out as the 5 red lights are coming on. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going racing here in Alabama.
Sykes gets a good jump right behind him. Victor Anderson also looking strong. Sykes goes back to the outside and gets through turn 1 safely.
Oh, and around goes Lubov, and she rejoins the track very nicely. But on that restart, I think I saw the 21 of Micah Stevens actually jump the start a little bit, so he might be having to serve a drive-through penalty. As going into Charlotte's Web, Jack Harrison gets absolutely dived on by the Canadian Marco, and around is Chris Long.
Chris Long around in the 18 car near the back of the field, but Simon Sykes with the lead, and right on his gearbox is Quinlan Law, who qualified second. Victor Anderson in 3rd spot, just as they qualified. And right behind Victor, Muhammad Ibrahim already up 2 spots from his qualifying position. Muhammad, as we said, the winner in round number 1. Mackay Stevens right behind him. Marco Kocic, Jack Harrison, Aiden Yoder, Justin Arsenault, and Alexander Kariba, your top 10. Arsenault is the hard charger so far. No, I take that back. Jeremy Fairbairn is the hard charger, up 6 spots in the early going here.
Yeah, it's a much cleaner start. Not a lot of chaos happening around the track. Aaron Roos sitting in 12th place, and as I say that, Aaron Houston goes into the pit lane, as well as Rodrigo Gutierrez.
Possibly some contact in that first turn incident, as we had a couple cars go off track. Now we're following the 10 car of Justin Arsenault with Aiden Yoder just behind. And there's Omar Khan off once again. Khan had some issues in the qualifying session going off course. So we'll get a replay of that.
He just got forced out wide. He forced somebody out wide, got into the grass, and around he goes. Eric Evans tried to save that, but oh my goodness. So lap 1, fairly clean. Lap 2, not so much.
Exactly. Simon Sykes and Quinlan Law still at the top, as Sykes beginning to open up a little breathing room, about a half a second over Law. As the 87 of Jeremy Fairbairn doing a little agricultural racing coming onto the front straightaway. Fairbairn back in 13th spot, up 5 spots from where he qualified. Timing and scoring recycling after that incident between Eric Evans and Chase Outcalt.
Yeah, back up front. Simon Sykes, Quinlan Law, Victor Anderson, the usual suspects 1, 2, and 3.
Simon Sykes last week had a great recovery drive after that first turn incident, working his way back up into 4th position. Just missed getting back up on the podium after that first turn incident.
Yeah, we thought he was going to actually get up there into 3rd as we look at Alexander Kariba losing a few spots down into Charlotte's Web. And this is Andrew Houston again. This is on his own after coming out of the pit stop. Oh, I just clipped the grass on entry, and that just upset the rear end of that car. Sent him off into the field. That is very unfortunate for Andrew Houston.
Alexander Kariba on camera right now in the 12 car. Swindell Speed Lab, his team. And there's Jeremy Fairbairn in the 87 car.
Currently tied for the Hard Charger award with Kenneth Garcia, who's back in 10th.
Fairbairn inside the top 10 in the points-paying positions.
Dresses Arsenaul's
Victor Anderson just sets fast lap of the race, a 1:17.4. So don't count him out.
Arsenaul's in the pits.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why. Arsenault and Kariba both in the pits right now. Our man Dakota Dickerson, after starting in the pit lane, up to 13th right now.
Dakota not eligible for the Hard Charger award, apparently.
That's true. But Kenneth Garcia now takes over the Hard Charger lead, up 11 spots from his qualifying position, just inside the points at 9th position. Here's the 23 of Garcia.
And Quinlan Law's off track, and he's dropped down. Quinlan Law gone way off track, and he's back into 4th now.
Yeah, Ibrahim got around him, last week's winner. Let's get a replay on Quinlan's incident. Coming through the museum turn. All in a bunch are the top 5 cars.
He just got wide. He just got ate up by that grass, but he kept the wheel pointed straight and got back into the pack. And he is sitting in 4th place now, but still in contact with that 4-way fight for the lead as Omar Khan's going slow, and he's got damage on that front right wing. And Aaron Roof is he's in the pits, and that front of the car is very messed up.
Yeah, it looks like some wing damage to Roofs, running in 13th before he had to make that call to the pits. We go back to the front now with the 6 of Simon Sykes. Victor Anderson right behind him, Muhammad Ibrahim right behind him, and then a little more gap back to Quinlan Law. I think Quinlan probably got some grass on those tires, so that's going to affect his pace. Another problem for the 12 car of Alexander Kariba, as he's having some issues in his inaugural run with us. After showing so much promise in qualifying back in 8th.
The curb on entry.
Yep, just a little too much curb. But he kept it off the barrier. That's a good sign. Back at the point is Simon Sykes. And Victor Anderson stalking him. Anderson came home 2nd in Indianapolis. Just wasn't able to get close enough to mount a challenge at the end of the race as Ibrahim was able to control the pace. Now the roles are reversed with Ibrahim chasing Victor Anderson. And both of them had their sights set on Simon Sykes, our pole sitter.
We just had Aiden Yolder drop out into the pit lane, and we'll get an update on that right now as Fairbairn and Garcia moved up to 7th and 8th. The battle for the Hard Chargers goes up into 12 overtakes now.
And let's give a shout out to Marco Kachik running in 5th spot. That's the highest he's been so far this season. So good run for Marco. Right where he qualified in that 5th position.
Oh no!
Aiden Yoder.
Flipping end over end like a Texas tornado, ends up on his roof, and the Primus Racing Team driver gets teleported into the pit lane. That car is torn up.
Aaron Roof's back on track after his pit stop.
Big ol' slide. Oh, barely that other car avoids him.
As we go back to live action at our leader, Simon Sykes. By the way, shout out to Marco Barbanera, who's providing these beautiful pits. Quinlan Law back in the pits now.
This is very unusual seeing this many pit stop guys at the pit stop, but I did notice he did have front right wing damage. It was very slight, but it was very scuffed up.
Probably picked that up when he went off track earlier and maybe dug into the grass and damaged that front wing. Great view now from Muhammad Ibrahim, our third place runner. That's Victor Anderson just in front, and our leader Simon Sykes just in front of him, as these three dueling for the podium spots, and they've got a big gap, almost 5 seconds over Marko Kacic, running in the 4th spot now.
Yeah. Everyone outside the top 10 has gone into the pit lane. The top 10 started with Dakota Dixon. Well, now Kenneth Garcia has not visited the pit lane, but Dakota, he's making his way up through the field after starting for the pit lane. And let's actually go to Dakota right now and walk us through his current progression.
Up in the 9th spot, Dakota. Good run, buddy.
Yeah, it's going well so far. I've almost sent it off a couple times, but just trying to, again, get in a rhythm here. Got a couple fast guys behind me, especially Quinlan. Not sure what happened there. He's running 2 spots behind me now, so yeah, just trying to put in some good laps. We'll pick them off one by one, and we'll see how far up we can get.
All right. Dakota, for those of you just joining us, is the reigning Formula Regional America's champion in real life, and also the reigning Formula Regional America's Invitational Esports Racing winner. So Dakota's, after winning the F4 championship, back that up with the Formula Regionals championship, or Formula 3 as it was a year ago.
Quinlan Law.
Esports championship. Quinlan Law is on a mission, man, trying to get back into the points-paying positions as he and Kenneth Garcia side by side.
Into Charlotte's Web they go. Kenneth holding Quinlan all out to the grass, and you saw a little bit of a wiggle from Law, but Law's got the run. They're side by side heading into the chicane. Who's going to be the last of the late breakers? Quinlan, Garcia, Law sends it into there, and Law's up into 10th. And this is allowing Jeremy Fairbairn to take over the Hard Charger Award at 12 over Dix.
Yeah, significantly ahead of everybody else. Looks like Kenneth Garcia is closest to him with 9. Dominic Livernoy right behind him also has 9. But Jeremy Fairbairn looking like he wants that 1-hour coaching session with Dakota Dickerson. Livernoy in the 8th car, just about 3 seconds behind Jeremy Fairbairn in the 7th position. Looking back behind him is Chris Long in the 18 car. Chris up 6 spots from where he qualified, only about 0.6 of a second behind Livernoy in this battle for 7th.
Yeah, that 1-hour coaching is going to be very helpful, but I don't know how helpful it is because they're going to a track that they've never raced before in real life, but they are going to make their debut this season at Homestead Miami Speedway with the oval final turns configuration, so the quote roval configuration down there, and that will be next week here on the F4 US Championships channel.
The F4 Championship has raced at Homestead on 2 occasions, and so some of the drivers may have had some opportunity to turn some laps there in real life. Chris Law, going a little long, and he spins it.
He's gone a little bit long off the exit, and that was a very horrible pun. He's probably going to send me a very angry message for saying that, but I had to.
That was a great replay of that on board with Chris. Dives down into too much curb.
The curb on that apex is so dangerous, especially with these newly updated F3 cars on iRacing. So after drivers' comments of last week's, we'd taken out the weight penalty, but then iRacing in the newly released update for the Season 3 patch they released today, they actually added weight onto the car, so we took out the weight penalty, and iRacing has completely added it back onto the base car, so we didn't change a thing.
This great battle at the front. Only 1 second and 3/10 separates the top 3 with Simon Sykes. They're in traffic right now as they're working their way through some slower cars. as Aaron Roofs goes a lap down after a couple calls to the pits. He's been in the pits 4 times, actually. But these 3 look to be settling this one between them as they've got almost an 8-second lead over 4th place Marko Kacic. Ibrahim in that beautiful livery in that 33 car. Love the paint job. Giving chase to Victor Anderson. And Ibrahim is looking a little bit racy now as he's closing down. It's about half a second between he and Anderson. As we said, the roles reversed from the battle at the end of the race at Indianapolis as Anderson, running in second, did everything he could to find a way around Ibrahim, but wasn't able to get it done. Like I say, now the roles are reversed. Simon Sykes, however, easing out in front of these two just a bit. I'm sure Victor Anderson having to drive in his mirrors ever so slightly with the pressure coming from behind, and so maybe costing both of them just a little bit of pace. And Simon Sykes able to eke out now an 0.8 of a second advantage over this two-way battle for second and third.
And we're just entering halfway. Simon, for the driver Rice race, is pulling into his own and starting to pull away from Victor Anderson and Muhammad. And this is where we're about to see Simon just start dominating. But hopefully Anderson and Muhammad can bring him back slowly.
You can hear Muhammad's car in the front, those front tires protesting just a bit as he gets a little understeer as he gets on the binders, but now on the back straightaway heading down into the hairpin, the best passing opportunity on the racetrack as he's able to close up. Great camera shot here, just inches above the pavement as Muhammad Ibrahim looking to stay on the podium and perhaps get as high as second here in the second half of this race, down through the what they call the corkscrew past the museum, on their way back towards the last sequence of turns. Very quick essence here, 10 and 11. And then another quick left-right chicane at 12 and 13. The tunnel turn, they call it. And this endless, long right-hander. It goes past the pit entrance and down to the final turn, turn 16, bringing them on to the front straightaway to complete yet another lap. Lap 13 goes into the history books. And it looks like Ibrahim is a little closer to Anderson than Anderson is to our leader.
Yeah, Abraham has got a great run on Victor. He's studied that line very well. And as we were watching that, Quinlan Law set the new fastest lap here, and he's right on Dakota's tail. And, well, he's in the Cruise Connect to us, but I don't really think I should ask him how it's feeling.
I think Quinlan, Dakota's a gentleman. I think he will probably give Quinlan the opportunity to get by without holding him up too much, as Dakota not racing for the championship. And just in front of Dakota, Dominic Livernoy.
Dakota's actually broke. Well, Dakota almost giving Quinlan, me, John, Marco a heart attack right there.
Get a replay of Dakota getting off the gas a little early to give Quinlan the opportunity to get by. So Quinlan now has his sights set on Dominic Livernoy in 7th position. As Quinlan recovering from that off-course excursion as he got into the grass and damaged his front wing, had to make a call to the pits for repairs.
Currently the farthest moving Lubov after that lap 1 incident. It's currently sitting in 13th. And it looks like she got caught up in a little bit of an incident at Charlotte's Web.
Just a little bit too much pace coming down the hill. That's a very tricky sequence as the car is unweighted at the rear as it comes down toward the apex there at that 180-degree turn. And it's very easy as Quinlan stuffs it down inside Livernoy to move up into 7th spot.
And Dakota is mowing the lawn.
And the car looks like he's got some damage as he pulls to a stop.
and he's going to retire into the pit lane. Let's take a replay what's happened here. Dakota Dickinson right behind Dominic Livernoy. Just got a bit wide and snap oversteer hard into the wall.
Yep. And you can see the damage to the right rear. That's why the car is crabbing its way through the grass. So Dakota will be teleported into the pits.
At my
Meanwhile,
join
more
us
lap
here.
traffic in front of our leader. As that's Andrew Hewson in the 15 car, just ahead of our leader, Simon Sykes, about to go a lap down.
Andrew Houston sporting driver Wolfpack Esports, who have those very defined side pods, those rainbow side pods, and he's taking a very conservative line, letting all the leaders right by in a very nice way, as he's currently racing in 16th. He had to actually go into the pit lane on lap 1. I'm not sure for what, as Lubov is off the track once more.
Luboy from Kazakhstan, Ozaretkovskaya, won some karting championships, 4-time champion of Kazakhstan in karting. She's also a qualifier in the W Series in 2019. As Mackay Stevens and Kenneth Garcia having a great battle.
Garcia's pace has dropped off significantly from the start of this race. It's dropped down to 10th place. Currently 10 spots up from where he qualified, but that is not even comparable to the 13th that he was earlier, so something must have happened to him.
Yeah, his lap times are about the same. He's only about a half a second off his best lap on that last go-round, so things maybe have stabilized at this point. As Jeremy Fairbairn, running in 6th, is currently the leader in the Hard Charger Award. The KCR Simulators Hard Charger goes to the driver who makes up the most positions.
Oh, Quinlan Law's off in the carousel.
Once again, Quinlan off track another time. Just what he did not want to happen. All by himself. Looks like this was an unforced error as he's down into turn 1.
Nice, hit the turn 1 apex that we were just talking about at the start of this race, and he skipped across the track just trying to recover it, but unfortunately got caught up in the gravel trap. But he's back going again. Didn't lose a spot, but he did lose ground.
Meanwhile, the battle between Ibrahim and Anderson for 2nd and 3rd has fallen off just a bit. Looks like it's about about a third of a second separating those two. Meanwhile, Simon Sykes continues to draw away at the front. Sykes, in past experience, a winner in the Formula Regionals Invitational that we just concluded. Simon has shown when he's able to get to the front and maintain the lead, he is able to draw away. As Ibrahim working his way through some slower traffic, and Victor Anderson got balked by that slower car, and that's going to give Muhammad a run as they head up toward the corkscrew.
Yeah, Barber is a very wide track, but the way that the track is configured, it's kind of difficult to get cars past one another without a significant way of letting the other one know about, as we saw with Dakota and Quinlan almost getting into each other when Dakota just lifted off the gas and let him by. And going off the track was... I'm trying to figure out who that was, just sitting off the track right there. It was Kariba.
It was a Kariba? Okay. Kariba, as we mentioned, making his first start with us. Alexander currently in 15th spot and is a lap down. Currently 11 cars on the lead lap. And here comes Ibrahim looking all over the back of Victor Anderson. As we've got about 8 minutes, a little less, remaining in this 30-minute race. And Muhammad Ibrahim looking to get up into 2nd spot. If he can find a way around Victor Anderson, he might have something to say about Simon Sykes at the point. That would be a back-to-back win for Ibrahim. Go ahead.
Simon has a 2-second gap over this battle for 2nd. So he's seeing what's happening. He just turned off the jets and let them behind him. And this battle is only going to help him some more. And it just gets Simon
just in front of Simon, about to go a second lap down.
Yeah, Simon just has to worry about hitting his marks and getting past this lap traffic and letting the battle behind him just continue on between Anderson and Abraham. And this is going to be very crucial for Victor Anderson right now.
And I want to give a shout out to all of the drivers really minding their P's and Q's this weekend, as we've had everybody being very courteous to the drivers overtaking them and allowing them by so as not to get in the way of a lead battle. So tip of the hat to all of our drivers for doing a great job of showing good sportsmanship here.
Diving it down to the inside on Livernois for P7. And oh no! Anderson and Muhammad get into each other in Charlotte's Web.
Anderson spins it. Muhammad perhaps gave him a little love tap. We'll get a replay here momentarily. Here we go. As they head down toward the braking zone for this passing opportunity. And Muhammad just dive bombs down in there. Oh, man. Stewards are going to have a look at that, I think.
That send was incredible.
From way back, just threw it in there and used Victor Anderson's car as a brake. So, and he's got some damage. Looks like that
wing damage.
Right front wheel.
He's got wing damage and might slightly suspension damage, but this is massive for that battle for a second between Muhammad and Victor Anderson. But Marco Kosick is going to be licking his teeth right now as he is in range to try to get some ground on Anderson. But Abraham, he does have that wing damage, and he is going very slowly. That is Lubov going around him right now up onto the inside of Charlotte's Web.
And Andrew Houston right behind Lubov, working his way around as well. So Ibrahim being shown still in second spot as Anderson is now Ibrahim's now some 7 seconds behind Simon Sykes. Victor Anderson another 5 seconds behind him, with Marco Kosick only about 4 seconds behind Anderson. As Muhammad Ibrahim.
Ooh, goes wide.
Yeah, he's obviously trying to drive through the damage to the car. He's only got 5 minutes remaining in the race, so he's going to try to tough it out. We'll see if Victor Anderson's able to drive around his problem better. Muhammad's last lap was a 120.7 compared to his fastest lap of a 117.05. So he is clearly driving a wounded car and is off the pace that he was able to turn earlier.
Yeah, I want to see Victor Anderson's car as well, because we were just focusing on Muhammad's car, and Victor Anderson also dealing with damage as well. That front right wing also a bit nicked.
But on that last lap, he was 2 seconds quicker than Muhammad Ibrahim, so he's only 3 seconds behind him. And there's enough time for him to catch and get past Ibrahim and perhaps repay the favor of that perhaps ill-advised passing maneuver down at Charlotte's Web a couple laps ago.
But with
meanwhile,
4 minutes.
Simon Sykes on cruise control now, some 10 seconds out in front of this. And that's Anderson right behind Ibrahim. So we are going to have a change for position here, I think, in these final 3 minutes here.
I think there might be a bit of some feelings in that potential overtake, but somebody who is much faster than them and closing ground. He's only 6 seconds behind Muhammad right now, and make that 5 seconds. That is Marco Kosick, the Canadian, sitting in 4th place. He's going to try to make a surprise appearance onto the podium.
Kosick in that 7 car is the fastest of the 3 by far. He's quicker than either Anderson or Ibrahim. And as we're getting down into the last couple of minutes here, Kosick might be in a position to get himself on the podium. That would be his first podium in esports competition here with either the Formula Regional, which he ran in, as well as the F4 US Esports Championship. Thanks to KCR Simulators for sponsoring this esports championship for the F4 US drivers, open only to drivers who have competed, are competing, or are potential competitors in the F4 championship. We go back to Quinlan Law, who's had an eventful day, still inside the top 10, so he's got some points to be scored here in 7th position. He's about 2.5 seconds behind Jeremy Fairbairn, who has got a pretty good hold on the Hard Charger Award right now. He's got 12 overtakes to Kenneth Garcia's 10.
And that battle for 3rd right now starting to get a little bit tasty, as Victor Anderson and Mohammed are in each other's mirrors. And something's happened to Marco. He's dropped back.
About a minute and a half remaining in this race. As Kacik's last lap, a 1:17.8. Very close to his normal pace. Anderson's last lap, a 1:19.2. So Kacik only a second behind Victor Anderson, who in turn is a second and 2/3 behind Muhammad Ibrahim. And here comes Kacik. And coming into the final minute here. Kacik eating up that gap in a big hurry, realizing that the 2 drivers in front of him have some damage. So Kacik looking for a spot on the podium here.
3 seconds faster than Mohammed at the front of this 3-car train. 1 second faster than Victor Anderson in front of him. Can he do it with 1 minute to go here at Barber Motorsports Park?
The pride of Kelowna, I believe, British Columbia, is Marco Kacik. And he is all over the back of the Swede, Victor Anderson, as we are coming to the final lap of this race. Kacik looking for a way around. Anderson weaving, trying to keep him behind him as they head through that 10-11 chicane. Kacik gonna send it.
Woo! What a set up the inside of Victor Anderson, holding around the outside and defends it for that final podium spot with 1 lap to go. Here at Barber, here comes Kacik once more. Looking around the outside of turn 1, they're going to go side by side. Anderson defends it well.
Anderson giving him racing room, but being tough to make it hard to pass. Marco Kacik doing his best to find a way around. Anderson weaving just a bit, trying to be a bit of a chicane. Kacik's going to go around the long way, or going to try to go around the long way, down into Charlotte's Web. Anderson hangs on to that preferred inside line and maintains his position.
Kacik's going to have the run off the exit. Anderson defending all the way down to the inside, almost going all the way over to Dega. And Kacik looking around the outside, and he's going to make the move into the corkscrew.
Kacik gets the job done and moves up into a podium spot. Victor Anderson, however, is going to try to retake that position if he can. Meanwhile, a little deeper in the pack, that's Quinlan Law in the 22.
And taking the win here at Barber Motorsports Park for round 2 of the F-Word U.S. Championship, it's going to be Simon Sykes.
Sykes takes the win in round number 2.
Quinlan Law.
Wow, going side by side as they're on the final lap, heading to the checkered flag. Jeremy
Law's got a great exit. They're going to go side by side.
Law's the outside. He'll have the good line on the final turn, and he's getting it done. Quinlan Law is going to make that pass on the final sequence of turns, and he will come to the stripe in 6th position. Jeremy Fairbairn loses 1 spot, but still hangs on to the Hard Charger honors as he makes up 11 spots from where he qualified, and he'll get the 1 hour of coaching with our reigning champion, Dakota Dickerson.
Dakota, who retired from the race after a unfortunate meeting with the wall. Simon Sykes is giving us a great old smoke show. And then some with Quinn.
Quinlan Law and Simon Sykes trying to do simultaneous donuts, doing a little drifting competition down in Charlotte's Web, and then they come together.
Thankfully, this is a simulation, and no one's actually got hurt or no one's paying for those damages.
Exactly right. So, Simon Sykes, your winner. Muhammad Ibrahim with a wounded car comes home in 2nd. Marco Kacik comes home in the 3rd spot. Victor Anderson in 4th. Jack Harrison, a good run, up 2 spots from where he qualified, into 5th position. Quinlan Law with an eventful day, eventually comes home in 6th with a daring last lap pass. on Jeremy Fairbairn, who wins the Hard Charger Award. Dominic Livernoy up 8 spots from where he qualified, finishing in 8th spot. Mackay Stevens finishes in 9th, and Kenneth Garcia up 10 spots from his qualifying position, takes the last point-paying position in 10th. Justin Arsenault and Andrew Hewson in 11th and 12th. Luboy Ozaretkovskaya comes home in 13th spot. Alexander Kariba making his first start with us in 14th. Aaron Roofs with an eventful day comes home 15th. Aiden Yoder with that dramatic crash comes home in 16th position. Omar Khan in 17th. Emerald Hopkins up 3 spots from where she qualified in the 18th spot. Rodrigo Gutierrez in 19th. Chris Long finishes in 20th. Dakota Dickerson, after his spin, finishes in 21st. Chase Outcalt making his first start with us in 22nd. Eric Evans and Cade McKee rounding out the 24-car field. So a much cleaner race than we had at Indianapolis. We had lots of action, but we didn't have a first turn melee as we had in our first round of racing. So hats off to all the competitors for that. As Simon Sykes coming home with his first victory of the season.
Thank you very much.
From the pole. Simon, is that you?
It is.
Congratulations, my friend. From the pole, lights to flag victory. And it looks like you were able to control the pace pretty much all the way through.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I needed some redemption from that Indianapolis race. Almost made it back onto the podium there, but glad to take it flag to flag here. It was a good race. It was very nice to start on pole because air wash here is a very big factor where the following car can't run as close to the car in front. And so I was able to hold the pace a little bit, run pretty conservative in the first half until we caught some lap cars. And once I got some space, I pushed the pace for a little bit. And I'm not sure what happened behind me, but after that, it was just going to the checkered.
Yeah, we'll find out about that as we talk to our second and third place finishers as Muhammad and Victor Anderson came together down in Charlotte's Web just a couple laps from the end of the race. And that gave you all the breathing room you needed to come home. And so you've got 2 poles in a row and the win in this competition. So it looks like the SCCA Pro Racing Pole Award is certainly looking like you've got one hand on that trophy already this season.
I certainly hope so. I really enjoy running the series, and so I've been running it since the FR Americas, and I've raced every event, and I've really had a good time doing it. So enjoying some success here finally.
Well, congratulations, Simon. Good job from, again, a lights to flag victory. And next stop is Homestead Miami Speedway.
That certainly should be fun. First of all, I just want to thank Greg Rice for his support in my real life racing. His livery is on my car, so shout out to him. I'll be racing with him in F1600 in real life, and Group 6 gear for all your karting apparel, chest and rib protectors, custom mold from my website, group6gear.com. Those are my 2 big supporters, and my parents, obviously.
All right. Congratulations once again. Good job,
Thank
Simon.
you.
Now we'll get our second place finisher who won the first round at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Muhammad Ibrahim. Muhammad, congratulations. You're on the podium once again.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was quite a tough race. Had damage throughout the entire race from the beginning and quite tough to keep up.
Tell us a little bit about that overtaking maneuver on Victor down into the hairpin.
I thought because I was quite a bit later on the brakes than him every lap. So I thought, and I actually did realize he was looking in his mirrors every lap. So I thought I could go quite deep on the brakes and he would see me. But unfortunately, he did not see me and he turned in. So we had a bit of a contact. So bit of a shame for that.
Yeah, and obviously you suffered some damage to the car from that contact because your pace dropped off pretty dramatically in those last couple of laps as Victor and Marco Kocic both gave you a pretty good run for your money there for that second step on the podium.
Yeah, it was. I completely had my front wing damaged, like both end plates of the front wing were gone. So it was quite tough to drive the car. There was lots of understeer. And then the lap cars were unlapping because I had my pace dropped massively. So it was really tough out there.
Well, congratulations for coming through for your second podium in a row. I think that's probably going to give you or maintain your lead in the points championship going into round number 3. So congratulations, and we'll see you at Homestead.
Yep, thank you so much. I would like to thank you, the commentators, and everyone organizing this event. It was really nice. Thank you so much, guys. See you later.
All right. Thanks, Mohammed.
Bye.
And our third place finisher with a valiant charge at the end of this race, taking advantage of some damage on the cars in front of him, Canadian Marco Kachik. Marco, welcome to the podium.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Nice job, Marco. Obviously, you were able to make up a lot of ground there at the end as both Victor and Muhammad had damaged cars, but good job to get yourself onto the box.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Tell us a little bit about your trip prior to that. You qualified well, qualified in 5th and picked up a couple spots, but I think this is your first visit to the podium in FR or F4 esports competition.
Yeah, no, it was a really good race. Started 5th, got no case, or actually not the greatest start, dropped back a little bit on the start, managed to pick off a few positions. Was sitting in 4th place for most of the race, just trying to put in good laps so I can take advantage if anything goes wrong in the front. Fortunately for me, I guess, a couple things went a little bit crazy, and I was able to catch just at the end there.
Well, congratulations on your podium spot, and should bode well for your move next weekend at Homestead Miami Speedway.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Our third place finisher, Marco Kachik, and that rounds out our podium interviews for round number 2 at Barber Motorsports Park for the KCR Simulators F4 US Esports Championship. As we mentioned, next time we're on the Roval at Homestead Miami Speedway.
Yeah, it's going to be a wonderful race next week as we head to the beautiful skies of Florida and onto that beautiful, beautiful track that they have down there and onto that Roval. And I know Marco and we certainly have some very fond memories of that track and that layout, and it's certainly one of our favorites.
Indeed, and like I say, we visited there a couple times in real life, and it's always a great track to run on, and also creates some very competitive racing. After that, in June 16th, we're at my home track, the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, and then you will have an opportunity to vote for the final race of this 5-race season, as we'll have a fan choice of voting. That fan choice voting will open up in the last week of competition after we've completed our run at Mid-Ohio. You'll have a chance on Twitter, on Instagram, or on Facebook to vote for your favorite track in North America for the final race of the season. So until next weekend, next Tuesday night, I'm John Phippen. I've been with Austin Knight and, of course, Marco Barbonera providing these beautiful pictures as we'll look for round 3 of the KCR Simulators F4 US Esports Championship in 1 week's time. Have a good night.